Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ed Talks. So, I am Nandini Upadhyay, your host of the show. I would like to welcome you all. So, first of all, let me tell you a bit about Ed Talk. So, Ed Talk is a platform where educators and leaders like you come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the discussion is, which is very interesting topic, it's about navigating the future of learning, empowering teachers in an era of artificial intelligence and automation. And to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us our very first panelist is Bitan Biswas sir, who is the principal of Madhusthali Vidyapeeth, Madhupur, Jharkhand. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good
Next, we
evening.
Good evening, sir. So next we have with us Rajni Kalra ma'am, who is the principal of DCM Presidency School, Ludhiana, Punjab. Welcome, Rajni ma'am.
Thank you.
And last we have with us MS Safi sir, who is the principal of Broadway Public School, Barnala, Punjab. Welcome, Safi sir.
Hello, good evening, and thank you.
So, a very warm welcome to all the educators once again. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time. So let's start off with the session of today. So my very first question is for Sefi sir. Sir, how can educators ensure inclusive access to AI-driven educational resources for all the students? Over to Sefi sir.
Thank you, Nandini. I'll start with a quotation. Okay, we are drowning in an ocean of knowledge, but striving for wisdom. In the very Indian setup of teaching,
Sir, you are on mute, Sefi sir. Can you please unmute yourself? Thank you.
yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Should I make a restart?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. We are drowning in an ocean of knowledge, but striving for wisdom. Of course, in the very Indian setup of education, we, the teachers, assume if we are the knowledge banks, we'll go to the classrooms, we'll drop the information over there, and we'll assume that every child will lick the last drop out of us, and they will be the better learners. Unfortunately, it is not the case. Inclusive access, as you have asked me, inclusive education is the global goal. Let's go to a class of 30 to 40 students where the teacher has to read all of them because it's the job of the teacher to read every one of them before they dare to teach them. It's almost next to impossible in our Indian setup of education to read all those 30 to 40 kids. You know, there are children with very special educational needs. There are children with, difficulties. There are children with disabilities as well. We call them, for example, CWSC and the kind of children. And how would the teacher address all of them? It's not only making an access to the AI resources to them, but the teacher must know who are they, what are their special needs, what are their difficulties, and what are their disabilities even. This is what the inclusive global call actually is. Now, we must thank Mr. Amir Khan for one of his movie where he was able to introduce dyslexia to all of us. We came to know dyslexia. The child was going to one of the best schools over there, one of the best boarding school over there. And how did the teacher? That is actually the ground reality in our Indian setup of system. Fortunately, there comes a policy in 2020 after waiting for decades and decades. It will not happen now. In an era of evolution of this technology, we need to, I think, sit with this policy immediately after 2 years. The things will not work like this. Coming to my point, so the basic idea is how would the teacher identify the special needs of the child sitting in the last corner of his or her classroom? Yeah, here it's the AI, the AI tools, the way I told you, I congratulated you to select the topic. Empowering teacher is the idea. Let us separate the debate. Okay, what are AI tools? What are AI generators? And how would we teach this one as a subject in middle school from 6th to 10th as the NEP 2020 speaks? Let's first of all come back to it. Empower our teachers. And in my opinion, AI is the only idea where the teacher can have an access, can have an idea of reading the special needs, difficulties, as well as the disabilities of the children. Otherwise, in our routine, very orthodox or a traditional setup of teaching, she will never be able to come up to the needs and expectations of the child. What I believe is, for example, China and US, they have come means to the forefront. They are using China, for example, they are using the EEG, means the electrophalographics as well to know the concentration, the focus, means is the child attentive and how much attentive he or she is. Let's leave that one. Let China experiment. We will take time. We'll follow them. They will teach us. We will learn out of them. But here in Indian system of education, AI is the only hope where the teacher can have an access to every child's special interests, special needs, the disabilities, as well as the difficulties. This is the only idea. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Safi sir. So, sir, I really liked it when you talked about teacher have to read all the students. I firmly believe that teachers stay in the heart and soul of schooling. And this is so true. I think so AI cannot, identify the weakness or the strength of the students, whereas the teacher can do the manual part. So thank you so much, Safi sir. So my next question is for Rajni ma'am. Ma'am, what are the key challenges teachers may face in adapting to AI driven educational tools? Over to Rajni ma'am.
Yeah, now, AI can do everything. And with the AI, we see that it is taking charge of almost every activity, and that too at an unbelievable pace. And no sector is untouched, including if we talk about academia and the educational sector. The regular announcements, warnings, there has been news about the future implications of AI, that in the education sector, it has created a fear amongst teaching community. Teachers, they are forced to think that AI would replace teachers very soon. And the fear of this fear, is not letting teachers embrace this change. They are not embracing and accepting the reality. And when we refuse to accept something, then we essentially lose ourselves off to the possibility of change and growth. So the biggest challenge that the teachers may face in adapting AI driven tools is learning a new skill. Acceptance is crucial to adapting. If we really want to learn something, first of all we need to accept. So the foundation for adopting and adapting is acceptance. So teachers, they need to believe that their job is not unsafe in the near future. Rather, yes, it is going to change. And robots, machines, all these things will not be ushering teachers from their desks. Rather, they will be joining them as teaching assistants. Teachers, all of us, all educators are sitting here, and we find that teachers often complain of time management, that they have heavy schedules, which includes a lot of routine tasks that are repetitive in nature. And so here comes the role of AI, because robots, they could be programmed and they could be used as a resource to supplement language learning. There are many tasks which are repetitive in nature, where teachers, they give drill for a certain content. So their AI can monitor. Suppose if a reading task is conducted by a teacher, so AI can monitor the mistakes in usage, in pronunciation, and robot will not get tired no matter how many times the child makes error. So the bottom line is that AI will not take away the jobs of teachers, but it will certainly make the job easier and efficient for teachers. Now the next challenge that comes up is, in adapting to AI driven tools is there is limited, and if I talk about technical digital literacy, there's a limitation. The teachers may face a challenge because it requires a lot of planning. There has to be significant meticulous planning and coordination with all the relevant stakeholders. AI is rapidly evolving, and teachers would need high quality training to keep up with the latest technology, with the latest trends and developments. So, AI technical training can be costly, particularly for the schools that may not have the resources to invest in training, because incorporation of AI into the school system would certainly require a robust infrastructure, software, hardware, high speed data connectivity. So implementing all these is an expensive affair, and usually, schools are non-profit organizations, and many schools do not have the necessary funding to support its integration. So there are other challenges too, with regard to, if I talk about privacy, there are security protocols, and there are lots of regulatory and ethical implications. So yes, whenever we start anything, whenever there is new thing that comes up, there are always challenges, and but overcoming these challenges is what makes the journey worthwhile. This is what I would like to say.
Thank you so much, Rajni ma'am. Thank you for explaining it so beautifully. And you have shown the audience the positive side of the AI if it is implemented in the schools. And how you talked about that teachers should be updated with the technology so that it makes their work easier. So thank you once again, Rajni ma'am. So my next question is for Bitin sir. Sir, in what ways can AI based tools support personalized learning experiences for students? Over to sir.
Good evening, everyone. Well, at the first onset, we need to understand what is personalized learning, because that is important approach of adaptive technology-based AI. Well, personalized learning means that each student's learning experience is customized and tailored to fit their needs and goals. But how? Well, by changing and adjusting the things like the content material, the speed at which they learn, the materials they use, the order in which they learn them, the technologies they use, the quality of the materials, and the way they are taught. That is very important. However, personalization is a broad way or a large scale that might not be possible without this artificial intelligence technology. So here comes the use and importance of artificial intelligence and the familiar buzzword for the personalized learning in modern context of education and learning. But you see that at the helm of education, we have the learner student of the Gen Z period and the learner teacher too. So all these days, one of the main sources of imparting knowledge and information was the teacher or the school, in addition to few other resources in a formal manner. But now the main teacher is where? At the Google, isn't it? So a student may come to a school and say that whatever a teacher would teach are already read or learned by him or her. So the expectation of the students is something more and something different. So here the teacher has to play a great role in, as Rajni ma'am has said, in adopting and adapting himself to edify himself with the knowledge of artificial intelligence. Why? Because they need to do it, because they have to meet the demands of the students, the learning styles of the students. So by leveraging AI technologies, you can say the educators or the teachers can tailor learning experiences to meet the individual needs, preferences, and learning styles of the students. Well, just since you have asked something about certain tools, well, I would just like to mention, based on the adaptation and the personalization of learning? Well, just to exemplify, for example, when we go to adaptive learning, we find over there the tools which can be used in AI to personalize learning and provide real-time feedback is the AI tools like Smart Sparrow is one of them. We have the AI-powered adaptive learning platforms like the Quarium, the Pearson AI, the Edmentum, the Cogni, Virtual TA, because these use the machine learning algorithms to assess or analyze the students' data, such as their performance, their strengths, their weaknesses, and the learning space. So based on this information, the system can provide personalized learning pathways for each child. Well, we have also the intelligent tutoring system. That is another area, another characteristics of the technology. Here the tools like the GradeSlam, TutorMe, they are all AI-powered platform that provide students real-time feedback and support and help them to choose the right tutor or the tutoring to understand different concepts and improve their grades. We have another one is there like that, personalized recommendations. Here the tool Dreambox Learning is an adaptive K-8 math education platform which uses AI to provide personalized learning for mathematics. Coursera uses the AT2 AI to recommend the courses and provide students with real time feed or backs and support it also. So AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data, including our students' past performances, their interests, the goals, to generate personalized recommendations for education resources. This helps also, you can say, the students like OpenAI offering a range of educators, including the GPT-3, which is an advanced language model which covers the relevant content that matches their specific needs and preferences. You have the natural language processing, where you have the tools like the Duolingo, the Cogni for grammar, spelling, and content to develop writing skills. We cannot forget about the chatbots also. What about the multimodal learning tools like the Kaltura, which is offering video management and the video content creation system. We also have the personalized assessment and feedback tools like AI question paper generator, generative AI assessment, Nearpod. They offer library of ready-to-use lessons and allows educators to customize their own interactive quizzes and virtual reality. So like this, you can say there are plenty such which are there, which can be adopted and adapted. Well, of course, as I said, the teachers also, who are at the helm of education, they have to there's a huge gap between the teacher and the students. So that gap has to be minimized. For that, the teachers have to play a very important role to help personalizing education through AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bitin sir. Thank you for telling about the various tools and the applications through which, it's beneficial for the students and for teachers as well. So my next question is for Sefi sir. Sir, are there potential ethical consideration in the use of AI in educational settings? Over to Sefi sir.
Thank you, Nandini. Yeah, there are. But first of all, let me thank Madam Rajni Kalra, who shared a good news that these AI or AI machines cannot replace teachers, and even schools cannot be replaced. Of course, social growth, social development of the child is only possible here in schools, and we cannot, these machines, wherever they are, even after decades and decades, they cannot replace teachers. That's a good news, and the teachers will be very happy. But of course, she challenged them. They need to empower them. They need to empower them. Otherwise, the gaps will be many more. The teaching gap, and of course, the learning outcomes will suffer a lot. Discussing these potential ethical considerations, there are many. For example, in our setup of education, we give some homework, we give an essay for the students to write, and there are certain assignments which are given to the students. And it's by the end of the half yearly examination or by the end of the year, we come to know that the child was very smartly using AI and all that and presenting it. So, how could it be digested by the teachers? Or let's go way ahead. For example, a PhD scholar who uses ChatGPT to submit his thesis and all that, what would happen to it? Of course, these are challenges, but artificial intelligence and the tools, the generators are the ideas that we teachers need to get empowered with. Otherwise, the learning gaps will be many. The learning outcomes, the learning experiences can be made better only with the use of AI. And the idea is, how would we train the teachers here in India? Of course, she was talking about the kind of infrastructure, the hardware, the software every school cannot afford. But is the option left? The teachers need to get empowered, and we need to get empowered, and thereafter we can address the students. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to make the learning experiences better and sweeter and to get better learning outcomes. Now, after all, at the heart of AI is machine learning. There is no doubt. It's machine learning. We can learn machines. The teachers need to learn them better. But what we need is AI supported learning. It's not to replace, it's not to go for, as Sir was talking about, the personalized learning. For example, let's discuss about one ILP. The teacher is able to assess his own assessments. The teacher is able to assess the own evaluations. The teacher is able to assess the students, those who are having some learning gaps, learning difficulties, that the teacher can address those students. Now, these evaluations, the feedbacks, the correction work that the teacher will be able to deliver to the students through these generators or the tools of this AI will obviously help every single child sitting in class. So it's almost next to impossible to think that a teacher can be as intelligent to address all the needs, expectations, and would be able to go up to the child with certain difficulties and disabilities. It's almost next to impossible for we teachers to assume that we can. There is no system as such. So artificial intelligence is the only way. Yeah, of course, once we will be dealing with it, we only then come to know what are the pros and cons. We need to tell them what is good, what is bad. These are the ethics. They can be taught once we teachers are empowered, and thereafter we are using them and we are teaching them the AI to the students, the AI driven agents to the students. They themselves will come to know with the passage of time what actually is it, and what the time they're spending with the machine, and how can it be shared into means a mode of self tutoring. How can it come up to the expectations, the queries of the child immediately? How can it address the gifted children, those who want challenging tasks, challenging projects, challenging assignments? And it's through artificial intelligence. Yeah, of course there are some ethical considerations, but to assume them and to get afraid of them, that the children will be misusing them. So every PhD scholar will use Chat GPT or GPT-3 or GPT-4 to submit the thesis, and all that will not solve the purpose. We'll have to jump into it. We'll experience the things, and we, the teachers, are always there for all ethics to be taught to the kids. That's why Madam Rajni was exactly right. Yeah, obviously these machines cannot replace teachers. We need to tell them what is good, what is bad. And after all, in society where they have to survive, the school, paying the society in miniature, there are many things that we need to tell them. You know what is good and what is bad. Here in AI as well, we need to teach them what's good and what's bad, what is the potential time, and what is the usage of this gadget, of that tool, of that generator. And of course, we will be able to address all kinds of children, the gifted ones, the disabled ones, the children with special needs, and as well as those who are facing some difficulties. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saifi sir, for sharing your point of views. I request Rajni ma'am if you would like to add on to what Saifi sir just said.
Yes, there are ethical implications. So it's not that we should not be using AI. We can use, yes, for the repetitive tasks, but wherever there is something where confidentiality has to be maintained, or where there is some information which is private, because sometimes when children they open these chat GPT, and there are a lot of information, and including their behavioral patterns are that data is taken. So I believe that there is always a risk of breach of privacy and security, and especially when we say that regarding that sensitive information, such as medical reports, and then there is biometric data, because when we open that we unlock our screen or something, so that biometric data is also being captured. So we have to be very very careful, and before taking any decision, because there are challenges, and there would be repercussions. There is going to be some I can say potential threat to privacy, so we have to be very very careful about that.
Thank you so much, Rajni ma'am. Bidin sir, would you like to add on? Sir, you are on mute.
Where we do understand that these kind of problems are already there, and we quite often read about or hear about the deep fake. They are all what they are doing. They are all using the AI, okay, in the wrong means. Well, of course, when it comes to the checking of this, I still remember there is a particular software. Well, I won't say software; it is also AI-driven software. I can say like the Turnitin, which can compare a vast database of academic content, detecting the potential academic matters, and they can easily compare if there is any kind of plagiarism which is there. So these are also AI-driven tools where we can take the help for finding out these unethical matters. This will be there because we know that quite often we talk about any type of good, we can say, creation or invention. Let us take a small example of a knife. It can be used for cutting vegetables and other things, but it can be also used for other matters, isn't it? So you can talk about nuclear bombs. We can talk about nuclear power. So that nuclear power is ethical, something good. Nuclear bomb is unethical. That is something bad. It has its demerit. So this one also has its demerits too somewhere, but we have to be very, very careful about the usage. Of course, there's a huge gap between the learners, because as I used the word Gen Z, that means the people, the students, or people after 2000, you can say after 1997, those are born. They are well versed or well read about internet and computer matters when compared to the current teachers, those who are a little older. Okay, for them to meet the gap is quite difficult, but they have to, because we always need to upgrade ourselves for that.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your point of views. So, this is how we come to the end of the session. So, I would like to thank you, all the educators, for imparting their knowledge and experience to the topic. It was indeed a very insightful and informative session where we discussed some real life experiences and about so many tools. So, looking forward to many more sessions with you all. On this note, I, Nandini Upadhyay, the host of the show, would like to sign off. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to all the panelists too.